Hello, it's Kim Malinowski. Uh, I usually just go by Kim. I'm like, hey, this is Kim. And then I'm like, well, perhaps I should introduce myself a little bit more. Since it's, National Poetry Month, I am a poet, writer, author, whatever you want to call me. I work with words. And then I'm sort of like an amateur archaeologist. This is Maryland's Archaeology Month as well. And I don't know. I'm still thinking that I've sort of switched careers, switched a little bit. I'm still a wordsmith, but I'm using words a lot differently with archaeology. I'm using scientific nomenclature and trying to break language, which is, of course, what I think of every poet. Okay, every poet should be working towards that. Not every poet does. Okay. So everyone knows I've been unhomed. I am safe. I am staying, I just left the hotel. I'm staying with friends. And next week I am cat sitting, so I feel like I have that urge like that I'm helping is also, like I mean like I'm willing to give help to anyone. Like God, I would die for a stranger, right? But heaven forbid somebody do that for me. I can't I have a hard time accepting help. I have a hard time asking for help. And I think this is teaching me some very needed lessons. Very needed. Yes. And if you're part of the Terra Nova Lyceum or if you're in like my Facebook friends, just so you know, I did do I'm doing an update to be coming out first before this one goes up. And yeah. So it spills the beans a little bit more that you can't do publicly. So yeah, I do start sobbing probably. Well, I tear up and I'm crying, but it's not like sobbing. All right, so this is April 19th, 2024 when I am filming this. This is good for the entire week. And I always say it's also timeless because like our collective, like yes, we have a collective with Chernobyl Lyceum, and there's also like this greater collective of the world. So whoever finds this when they find this, damn it, take it. All right. So this is where we're going into the season of Beltane. I am trying to get my friend to commit to like being like there with me on May 1st. Now I know he's not going to be there, at fairy festivals and stuff. I don't even know if I am. Can a unhoned person just decide to like go someplace and try to buy possessions they don't have places for yet? Uh, I don't know. Um, the insulation is coming out of my house. That's what I was so I think I mean, I've never had chemo. Okay, first of all. But I feel like the way that I was feeling must be how like a light dose, whatever that would feel like. It was awful. So mad props to anybody that feels that way, however I felt. Um, yeah, feeling better and I'm getting stronger each day. I was really huffing and puffing going up a hill, in my boots, but I was able to do it. And I honestly don't know if, like the 3 days before that, if I'd even been able to do that. Like I was just so weak. So I'm very happy with that. All right. So learning lessons can do this. I'm using the Seasons of the Witch, and then let me get this right. The Sacred Earth Oracle. Um, I apologize last time that only so many oracles and tarot cards could go with me. I have a bag full, but it will be a little repetitive for the next 2 weeks, unless I get angry and use like a parent's credit card or something, right? Like, I'm getting this deck. I don't care. I get like decks at our local metaphysical store, and then also I totally am like Amazon. I'm the Amazon queen, and like right now, I don't have a place for Amazon to come to. There's no address. There will be, but I'm learning a lot of lessons. Okay, and it teaches me. I have I've helped a lot of now it's called Unhomed, of course. But I've helped a lot of homeless people. Like I give the $10. I talked, I listen, and now baby, I'm a little bit even more empathetic, and I still have a lot of support. And so there is that. So it's imperfect, but I'm learning. All right. So Season of the Witch, Beltane edition. All right. So I don't even know how many I took. Sorry. I don't. I just started, whatever you want to call it, having them flip out at me. It sounds like that they were angry. They didn't flip out that badly. All right. So the first one is chant 4. For those of you that use different number systems, it is 4. Hear me loud, hear me roar, for I am here in my truth. Now, this is something that I say all the time. I live my truth. I live my beliefs. I refuse to be false. And I think that is true of a lot of us. But I think that sometimes we need to look within. Is it true? Are we really living our truth? Are we? Now, I've been struggling with identity issues. Of course. I mean, we all do. I'm 41. What is my identity? Sometimes I don't think I have one. Some of that is trauma based, some of it is learned patterns. And like I just changed my pronouns to she, they, present very female. There's part of me that is very like masculine. I'm one of the boys sometimes. And I've always hung out with men up until my adulthood. All my friends were male. I mean, like, I had my Girl Scout friends that I'm like staying with. I don't want to say that. I had no female friends. I had some best friends that were female, but at the same time, I still was one of the boys a lot of the times. Why do they always put me as the friend? Why am I friend zoned? Because they think you're a boy. And part of me is. There's something within me that it's like if you have to base it on living your truth and you base it on a clothes, which is very superficial, okay? But it's like somehow how I see the image. There is something about I wear skirts all the time, right? I wear skirts except when I'm doing archaeology. But it's something about wearing the work boots that are steel toed. There's something about them that I'm just like, this is me. Now, those boots are, traditionally in my culture, male, masculine. So something, you know, deep inside me recognizes, like the maleness. I mean, like they're female shoes. I mean, I think. Maybe they're not. No, they're not. I lie. I totally have the men's shoes, and that's why I wear 2 pairs of socks. Anyway, beside the point. But, like there's a feeling that's different. And like I've been trying to merge those feelings, not hide them, not I haven't told many people, but some journals are coming out with she they. I want to see who will recognize it and realize, oh, I didn't know what pronouns you use. I just freeze what pronouns Jessica can use. My name was masculinized. So I don't know how many of you are old enough to be authors that have masculinized their name. So, and in some, it's the opposite. You have to, feminize your name. Like you do. Legit. Like if you're writing romance, usually you have to be under a female name. No lie. Well, I entered the spec world, and the way I got in was Kim instead of Kimberly. My academic stuff is Kimberly L. And my nickname was Kim, but like it was legit, literally masculinizing it. Most of the world that its nationalities, it him is a male name. So I was like, okay, let's do this. I got published next to Neil Gaiman. And this doesn't mean that it was good. That just happened. And then I had to keep it, of course, because like you do when you make it with him and you go with yeah. Okay. So this like truth. Like, are we living our truth? Are we shouting the truth? Are we just reflect? there's a parts of us that we don't necessarily understand. So chant it out. All right. So this sort of relates, and I didn't even like. I haven't looked at these cards, so I don't know everything that we got. I've like as I was doing, I was seeing images, but I didn't read them. Growth 16 inside myself. I've sown beauty with wounds, which speak of my immortality with expansive, eternal song, softly bellowing in spirit. That's a mouthful. I've sown beauty with wounds. Okay. So beauty with wounds, number 16, for those of you keeping track. Beauty with wounds. There's something very poetic about that. And it's showing flowers. I don't know if they're roses with thorns. Like it makes sense if they are. So, like using our pain to make beauty in the world. Um, that's definitely what a poet does. I don't know about anybody else, but you don't have to write poetry to like embody the poet motif, and you don't have to dress a certain way like people say. It's really I found that like it's noticing the small, noticing pain, like for this pain, and then like making something out of it, you know, for the better good, for your own good and for everyone else. And that really it's very much like that. That really didn't make sense. It made sense in my head. But like embodying the poet. You don't have to write poetry, I guess is what I'm saying. Okay. You don't if that's not your thing, please don't be like, oh, Kim is saying, oh, um, I'm saying look at the small, the minuscule. When you're shouting your truth, you know, shout your pain as well as joy and transform your pain into something bigger. Bigger as in healing yourself, and then bigger as in healing the world. And like that's what I mean. Like that's definitely a poetic mindset. All right, we have the goat. I don't know what the goat is. 13. Fearless. I am in the path I choose, for I've never been led astray, always finding my way. So we choose our path. So that's the idea of we don't just like fall down a cliff and then go down the hill and then, bump along. And then you're like, hey, this is my purpose. But we do make a lot of small decisions, or even making like deciding not to make decisions is a decision. So we are somehow living purposely. It's not just going like a zombie around. Though sometimes that's how I feel. We make small choices that lead to bigger things, that lead to bigger things. And at some point, we are on a path. And if we decide to change the path, that doesn't mean that the last one was wrong. That means we needed to go on that path so that we could get to that crossroads. Okay. So I guess what I'm saying is no path is truly wrong. It might not be the path for us anymore. And we have to know when and how we can make those choices to, if we want to, hop onto another path. I'm looking to hop, you know? And that's sort of the way it goes. We make small choices, take small steps, and sometimes we leap off cliffs and roll a little bit, but it's still a choice. And then we get back up and we keep going on a different path, or at least a different direction on the same path. Number 44. We're getting a hell of a lot of fours, peeps. I don't remember what the angel numbers like in terms of like how they reduce. So we're gonna have to look up 4 because like we've had 4, 16, which was reduced to 4, and like how it goes. And now we have 44, the wildcat. And we're getting a lot of horns. I just want to say for antlers. In Beltane, antlers are usually masculine. It's been 3 years. And on Beltane, I wear antlers. And the first time I did it was during, I didn't have a true headgear. I was like, oh, it's just like one antler that my hair is up with. And then that still means it's female to different people. I wasn't It was during COVID. I was with my family. I just like videotaping it, taking photos and stuff. And then I got like a little like headband. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I think it was last year that I got a full, as full of a rack as it could get. You can't have a full rack and have it really keep on your head because of the weight. The way you do this, the one I have is like a bandana and it's like two larger, um, like prongs of the antler. And I'm like, and I didn't see it then. But anyway, so, like recognizing this masculinity within ourselves does not mean that you have to like change your pronouns, please. There's a lot of times energies, they call it female or male energy or yin and yang. So just take note of that we're getting a lot of them, okay? So a lot of that energy is usually go out and get you energy is what people are like. I think feminine energy, if you want to call it that, can do that too. That's why I'm always like, but I'm also very two-sided, right? So be still and tune in, for there is something afoot lurking alongside you. This is what we got last week. This is the card, man. This is the card that I feel like changed my mother. Um, I think this is the card that like my guardians, whatever guardians I have and guardian grandmas. I don't know if you all have had experiences with this since the whenever you would watch the last one I videotaped last week. Interesting. It's interesting if to know because my mother had like a very visceral dream like the day of or the day after that I pulled this card for the collective. And what had been making me sick, which is insulation, is now coming out because of that dream. And I really feel that it was my guardian grandma's. All right, self-worship, 37. My hands fold as I speak to the stars, watching as the sky holds its breath. It's in stillness that I find all that I am and all the divinity within me. That is beautiful. Can you see that? Yeah, it's a lighter color card. But that beauty within me, self-worship, it's a hard thing to do to even self-love, let alone self-worship. I like that idea though. And I would say that, she has a beyond, which is the theme of the cards. So I think that definitely if you're looking in the mirror, it's definitely seeing yourself as they have flowers. So as a flowers or as like think of something that you really admire or like something in nature that you can place upon yourself in terms of like I like roses, so I'm going to use roses as my cue. So I like roses and thorns, right? I do. I like them both. And if I put them on and I see myself, I'm like, yeah. And I've been looking at all these photos because I'm doing the archaeology technician program, right? So I'm doing my final presentation and it's all of me in dirt. I like myself covered in dirt as much as I like myself dressed up as, a writer about to do her writerly thing. And like, I'm like, yes. That's another aspect. You can worship yourself in all of yourselves. A lot of like deities have different faces, right? It never dawned on me that I could worship all of my different faces. So think about that. How how can you worship yourself? Okay. Fire Festival, 11. We have a lot of doubles. So, like, it's not I mean, like, they're technically palindromes, but they're also double numbers. Fire Festival, 11. Through flame and through song, there will rise a new dawn. I think I pulled this too, and I really did, all the next cards, I pulled, and I shuffled and shuffled. So it's interesting that I'm pulling them again. Through flame and through song, there will rise a new dawn. Well, I don't have flame, and I've had some songs, but a lot of things are rising and the dawn is coming. A lot looked a lot bleaker last week. Here we are. So I don't know about you all, but let's keep this going, this energy, this belief that things will get better. Okay. Final, which I mean it's my favorite, but it's so interesting. There's actually another 424. I am fertile in what I seed, for there is reason to dance and drink upon the riches I receive. So abundance. You put the seed in the ground and you reap it, and you have fruit or flowers or whatever, and food, right? So there's plenty. We are celebrating the season of plenty, not scarcity. And last week I was in a scarcity mode, right? And this week I'm somewhere else. Not quite exactly plentiful, but I'm like, things are working out. So I hope they are for you too. I hope that we have changed this energy. I think that's why we got the I was called to draw more cards than usual. Okay? So that's the maypole. And I hope everyone on May 1st or around May 1st is able to do so. I like the maypole. I also put ribbons on the trees around the house I live in, my parents' house. And I've been very sad that I would not be able to. But I think this year, with things going, I might be, or whoever I'm staying with, they're getting ribbons. Okay. So absence. Now, I've read this before, and it is almost like, yes, there is an absence, but it's not a scarcity. It's like we're asking ourselves to be absent, and like in my head, like right now, my personal stuff is I am absent from the home when usually I would feel like I had to be there to help. There's construction, I have to be there. Well, I'm sick. It makes me sick. I can't. I literally have to be absent. And it's taught me a lot of things. So in our being absent from different things can really, really teach us. I really hated this card when I pulled it first, and I pulled it for myself before too. But being absent is sometimes necessary. And like just like releasing that is somehow that we're allowed to not be present all the time. Be in your head too every so often. Revolution. All right. We have to have a revolution within ourselves. We have to take on the world. There's lots of issues. We can start small. Let's start small. One thing that you can do to resolve something, to be a revolutionary. If I just took out all my plastic cups and instead of throwing them out, if I recycled them before they got gross, the world would be better. So I've been working on that lately, though it's really difficult right now. I thought that was a cop car. It's a progressive car. Thanks. Thanks for that. I always get nervous when I'm in a parking lot and I'm doing these cards. Especially when I'm holding a card that's like revolution when I'm in like Trump country. Could go either way, peeps. It could go either way. All right, clarity. Clarity. I've driven this card too. A lot of these I've drawn before, and it's interesting that like my understanding of them, I have the book right here, but my understanding and my intuition of them are very different now. Clarity, clarity, and it's almost like she has a butterfly transformation on her head. So it's like transformation with spiritual. If you go with the chakras, right, within ourselves. So clarity, search for it, be it, help others like become clear. Like I feel like so much has been ripped away from my eyes, and I'm like, damn, if I'd only known, what would I have done? I don't know. At the time, I couldn't have done anything. What am I going to do now? I don't know. I don't know if I can do anything, but at least I know, and then I can protect myself. So if we're clear, we can protect ourselves, or do what's necessary and protect others. Now we also have reaction. I again have pulled this, I think the last time. Again, I really did shuffle these, so it's meant to come out for us. And it's meant to come out for more than just me. Like, I use my own examples, but I mean, like, it is a collective issue. Like, right now, as we go into Beltane, reaction. Well, there's lots of stuff going on in the world. There's a lot of reactions. There's a lot of stuff we need to give ourselves permission to react to. Do you need to yell? Yell. Do you need to cry? Cry, if you can. I have to get to a certain point and then I cry. At a certain point of healing, I can then be able. So don't judge yourself if you can't do that either. But just be with yourself. You can react. And when you're talking about the self, be gentle. And if somebody else reacts towards you, your reaction towards them, gentle. Now, if they act towards you and it's malicious, different story, okay? Your reaction can be different. You can fight back. And like after all of that, our final card is brilliant. We are brilliance is in all the different colors, and we are brilliant as ourselves. Brilliant. We need to own this. If somebody has called you stupid or dumb, or you can't listen, you can't blah blah blah, we are brilliant. And I am brilliant. I learn best when I listen to audio, like audio files and audio books. That doesn't make me dumb, right? Well, I've been fighting about that. Just so you know, I've been fighting like people that I respect about it or respected. 'Cause now I'm kind of questioning, like, did they really respect me if they knew if I didn't like work 4 times the amount of work that I had to because, you know, they don't respect, audio files, like that sort of stuff. Like maybe that's a reaction, right? But we are brilliant, multidimensional, and multidirectional, and we have so much possibility and potential that we don't give ourselves credit for. So if we give ourselves credit for, are we at that crossroads where we keep going the same direction that is a possibility, or perhaps we do a turn? Now, the brilliance, I'm going back to Beltane. If it is a different season, if you're different, like I'm in Northern Hemisphere, so if it's the Southern Hemisphere, this is liminal space right now. And I think that regardless if it's as liminal as I'm talking about, it still matters, okay? It'll still resonate. So brilliance, right? You see all those colors? Those are very much colors that I associate with Beltane. Now, I merge Beltane and Samhain together on both sides. I believe there's this great, liminal amount of life and a great liminal amount of death in both. So, what does that mean, right? Well, that means like if you're in the season of Samhain, Halloween, if depending on the hemisphere, right? And if you're not in the US, I don't know. Samhain, all right? Um, so the season of darkness, it's my new year, Samhain. So, but there's also this much needed light that is becoming. It's about to give birth almost, right? But they're existing side by side, ghosts and those that are about to be brilliant and go forth and be in the prime of their lives, exist in the same moments, in the same places. This is also the season. I'm about to cry. Okay, well, here we go. All right, this is also the season. Now I am in, of course, the Beltane mode. Um, so I'm halfway through my year. And the dead are very much with me. Liminal. Okay. It's interesting. I hadn't thought about it like that. So, in this liminal space, we are able to exist side by side even more than in other times. All right. And there's lots of places that are liminal, and really technically in all times um you'll have like realms with you. I can feel different presences. different things. But I didn't realize that as we get to Beltane, my true belief is that it is just as open to death as like Samhain. Only it's sort of like overshadowed a little bit by the light, sort of like how we, have on our solstices, one it becomes the other, darkness starts coming, or light starts coming, right? Well, it's sort of like that in some ways. So if any time that I be going through my struggles with housing and my illness because of the insulation, it would be this time. This would be the time that I would be saved by the spirit world. Crying because I am. I need a moment. And I'm crying because of me, but I feel like this is a collective sort of thing. So this very much, um, if you are believe in spirit guides, if you believe in ancestors, if you believe in your guardian whatevers, this is a time. I mean, we pulled that card in Beltane that we are having presences with us. Well, perhaps this is why. Like, we are called to be the brilliance. We are called to be, the light. We are called to show our beauty, our truth, our intellect, our everything. And that is why this is our final card. That's why I'm so emotional, is that it all makes sense and it all comes together. It all weaves into a pattern, just like life. Life isn't just a road, it is a web. And it's very, very much like, like if you like believe in being the woven thread, sure. But it's also a woven web where there's many things that tangle and go on, but it winds up being this spectacular display of artistry. And that is us. Yeah, so that's your woo for the day. Eats. All right, well, have a brilliant day. Have a better than brilliant day. Have a be in your truth day, and have a wonderful week. Again, this was for officially like for the April 19th, 2024. But hey, now if you get this, you take it wherever you are. I love you all. Please be well. So it is.